Hey everybody, this is Laura from McLeod Homestead, coming at you from my kitchen. Now, I got a great deal on some boneless, skinless chicken breast. I got 40 pounds of it for right around $1 a pound. So, I'm going to, right now, in this video, I am going to take and make homemade chicken nuggets and freeze them and show you how I do it. Here is one that I have started, and all I do is, well, I've cut them in slices here, and then I'll just cut them into squares, kind of like this one, and then I will throw them in here for a bit. I wear gloves because I really don't like the cold and sometimes the grease, especially on hamburger, that gets all over your hands. Plus it's a little more sanitary. But as you can see, I just cut it all up into chunks. I'm only going to do 10 pounds of it into chicken nuggets right now. And this really doesn't take that long to do. So, anytime you get a chance to get a deal, I would take it. Sometimes I get parts like this, doesn't want to cut real well. I use my scissors. And then I just wash and sanitize my scissors. So look at that, 1/2 chicken breast already done. Now we start on the next one. Okay, so I've got the chicken all cut up. This is the bowl I'm going to use to freeze it. And I decided we're going to have some for dinner. So this is the bowl for dinner. What I do, and it's a trick I learned, is I add some milk. Not a whole lot. And what the milk does is it helps to, add a little more here. It helps to keep the chicken from drying out. So, I will put the lids on. There's one on. Okay, so that lid's on. And then what I do is, now what I do once the lid's on nice and tight is I will just shake it all up. But once it's all shaken up, you can open it up and you can look inside. You can make sure it's all coated, which it is. Yuck. Yes, I stuck my hand in it. And no rag. But anyhow, what I will do is then I will take and leave this soak for a half hour to an hour before we go to the next step. The bowl for dinner, I will leave that soak until it's time to get that ready for dinner. Okay, so for the breading, what I've got in here is I've just got a mixture of Italian breadcrumbs, some panko breadcrumbs, paprika, salt, and Parmesan cheese. And I just take my fork and mix it up. And then when it's good and mixed up, I set that to the side. So what I do with the eggs is I just whip it, take the fork and do it. And then we get our chicken and we take the lid off. And what I do, because you want excess off, so I just set it in the strainer for a few minutes. And I only do a few pieces at a time. And then we'll let that drain for a minute, make sure it's as dry as possible, and then we'll go on to the next process. Okay, so here's how I do it. I just take a few pieces, put it in the egg, cover them, and just set them. Some people put wax paper on their cookie trays. I don't. I find kind of a waste of money for me. It's just as easy and quick because either way I wash the cookie sheet. So it's just as quick and easy as for me to just wash instead of wasting money. And then just throw some more on there. Again, we just cover. Some people will take and dip it back in the egg. You know what? I made an error. I am human. I forgot to put the flour out. Let's get the flour. Okay, now I got one cookie sheet done already. But because we had forgotten, so what you do is we just put it in the flour to help soak up the extra juice. Dip it in the egg, make sure it's covered. Put it in the breadcrumbs. Make sure it's good and covered. And just put it on the cookie sheet. It's as simple as that. And we just repeat the process with each and every one. One thing you want to make sure though, is you want to make sure that the egg gets on all the flour parts. Because if you don't, then the breadcrumbs will not stick to the chicken. It's a very tedious, monotonous job, but it's very tasty. It's much better than the ones you go and you buy in the store. By a long shot. And I've got one child and a husband that does not much care for chicken. And when I make these, they love them. Some people will go through and put double breading on. I don't. This is one thing I hate though, is the built up that gets on your fingers. Again, another reason why I wear a glove. So I'm going to do this and show you when I'm done. Okay, there's another method of doing this too. You don't have to do it in the bowls. But what you can do, make sure your Ziploc bags is buy the cheap ones. Flour and spices, egg, I still do in a bowl. And your breadcrumbs, whatever you use to bread them, in here. And then again, I just take the drained meat and put a few in to the flour mixture. You don't want to do too many because even though they soak in the flour, they will get clumpy. You just shake it up, make sure they're all covered. Do the egg. Put one in. Grab another one. Now, I don't like to do too many in the breadcrumb mixture at a time. So, maybe 5 at the most. And then just zip it up, shake it all up. Doo, doo, doo. Sing a little tune while you do it. And then just take it out and set it on your cookie sheet. And I usually do try to remember how many I put in there, so I know how many I've got to take out. And if one is missing, and there is, where's that 5th one? There it is. And there we go. And we just will keep repeating. And then, when you're done with the Ziploc bags, what's nice is you can just toss it right in the trash. To me though, this way isn't cost effective. Gotta use your words, hon. My little helper this morning. Shake it all about. There it is. And we'll just repeat. So here is some of the finished product that's ready to go in the freezer. I ran out of room and I only have so much room in the freezers up here. And it is wood season and wood just got thrown down cellar, so I can't get to the freezers down there right now because it's got to be piled. But here's some ready to go in the freezer. Here's the mess. This is one thing that's nice about doing it this way with cleanup, because it's not like you save any of it. So you bring it on over, and in the trash can it goes. There you go. It takes a little bit of time, but guess what, guys? Much healthier for you in the long run. I decided we're going to have some of these for lunch. So I just spray a little bit of grease on it. A lot of times I will take and just use wire racks on my pans so any grease can fall off. And then I will bake these at 450 degrees for 20 minutes. And voila!